Welcome to The Strength to Bloom, the podcast where we spotlight women who walked through the fire and came out blooming. I'm your host, Lauren Garcia Marsigliano, a mama, a community builder, a pediatric nurse practitioner, an entrepreneur, and a forever believer in the power of storytelling. And today's story, it's mine. This is my first official solo episode, and I want to open up with a quote that I absolutely love. And I've probably mentioned it multiple times throughout the first few episodes of the Strength to Bloom podcast, but it is, the things that bury you may also be the soil in which you bloom. And that quote to me captures the heart of what this episode is going to be about. And really the season that I am in life right now. Because for a long time, I thought blooming meant go big or go home. It meant hustling, saying yes to everything, being constantly visible, and moving faster than the feelings I didn't want to face and truly needed to. It meant building, performing, and doing. Always doing. And in that season, I accomplished a lot, but I also burned out. Because the truth is, if your bloom isn't rooted in something real, it will not last. I reached a moment after years of caregiving, advocating my health issues, 2 babies, growing Bloom Social Club, trying to expand the League of Extraordinary Children, and finally stepping into the pageant world where I just sat still for the first time in what felt like a really long time. And it was in that period that I realized something that I did not expect. And that is that I wasn't behind. I was just shifting. And I say this all the time where it's like, like a no doesn't necessarily mean a no, it's a redirection. But it's sometimes hard to see if you're not there yet. And for a long time, I wasn't there yet until I sat with myself. And I kind of slowed things down. So that comes into what this season in my life is going to be called, and that is the slow bloom. It's one of being more intentional, more grounded, more honest about what I need and want. And it's honestly been one of the hardest but most beautiful transitions in my life. And not to take all the credit, this is something that I read about on the Everygirl. It's called the slow bloom method. And when I was reading it, I just felt like it's so much aligned with where I am right now. Because let's be honest, right? We live in a world that celebrates instant everything, viral successes, overnight transformations, and quick wins. But no one talks about what it really feels like when you need to start over, when you need to pivot, when you want to grow slowly, or when you just want to change your mind about what you want to do. No one applauds you for pulling back, for being quiet, and for ultimately protecting your own peace. But over the years, I've been an entrepreneur for over a decade now. I've learned that the most powerful growth happens in the dark. And because I always have to go back to the flowers and bloom, I truly do believe that just like a seed needs to be buried to actually sprout, there are parts of our journey that no one sees and that we're meant to go through, navigate quietly. And for me, that quiet, it started after my diagnosis, my miscarriage, my dad being diagnosed with ALS, and motherhood, grief. I kept pushing, kept showing up. But in the end, I kept burying myself under the doing. I didn't allow myself to fully bloom, and I didn't honor the version of me that needed softness, needed space, and needed support. And it wasn't until I joined the pageant, wasn't until I started this specific movement, the Strength to Bloom, that I truly understood what this season required of me. So I am reclaiming my energy. I am reclaiming my creativity. I am reclaiming my voice. And I want this podcast to be a space where we do that together. Whether you're in a season of grief, uncertainty, or quiet transformation, you are still growing. Your bloom is still valid. So I want to talk about what this looks like practically. Okay. I truly sat down with myself and I was like, how am I going to follow the slow bloom method in a way where I felt like it was tangible? So I want to give you some real grounded ways to honor this season in our lives without needing to change everything overnight. So number one, okay, is create white space. And what does that mean? Start with a calendar. I am very pen to paper type of person. I have my planner, that's a Bible, but I also love Google Calendar. I know a lot of people are into their Notion girlies. So whatever you use to plan, start with that. Where can you create space for stillness? Not productivity, not content, just space. Time to breathe, reflect, recharge. You don't have to fill every gap with doing, right? So I am the type of person, I learned this from a coach that I had, and it was like plan everything, like even when you're sleeping, when you're going to eat lunch, when dinner is, because even if you don't follow it to a T, at least you have like some specific guidelines. So I love this white space scenario where I'm actually taking out time in my day, and it kind of holds me accountable, right? Because I'll see my calendar and I'll say, I didn't do that. So if it's a 5-minute journal, if it's a 10-minute YouTube meditation in the morning, if it's the gym after work, if it's your monthly nail appointment, things like that, write them down, create that space in your calendar so you can hold yourself accountable. Because at the end of the day, the only person that can hold you accountable is you. Number 2, say no to maintenance mode, okay? I truly feel, and I think that I am not the only person that does this, but sometimes we're keeping things alive out of obligation, relationships, routines, roles. So in this season, I want you to take inventory of what you're maintaining just to survive. What can you release? What deserves a soft ending? What is not working for you? I want to be able to applaud you for protecting your peace. And this is the only way that we're going to be able to get there. Number 3, protect your input. So this means I want you to pay attention to what you consume. The voices, the noise, the content. If it leaves you feeling not enough or behind, unfollow. And if they're your friends and you don't want to unfollow, mute. Sometimes it is okay to mute people who make you feel less than. It happens. We are human. We're not robots. We have emotions. I can tell you that in this process, I am competing against 50 women who are absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous, who have platforms that matter, and who are well-spoken, who have such amazing family values, that I definitely am going through imposter syndrome. It happens. And I don't think that I would be able to say that I'm a person if I didn't feel these feelings. So sometimes it is okay to post your content, write back to a few people, and shut it down. Or if you have a coworker that's just, you really have to kind of mute them for a little bit to be able to get your work done at the level that you know you can do, then you have to do what feels good for you. You want to mute, you want to step back, you want to feed your mind with some slowness, truth, and beauty. Okay? Number 4, start micro blooming. I am talking about, I obviously, when I started my business, I was like, okay, day 1, day 100, we're becoming millionaires. Everybody has those dreams, those aspirations, and it is totally okay to have like your vision board and what you want to see yourself in a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year. But I have learned that it's a one day at a time kind of life, right? With everything that I've gone through, I finally realized life is so short. And if you're not present in your everyday life and you're only thinking about like that 5-year, 10-year plan, sometimes you're not actually enjoying the moment, celebrating those small little wins. We've talked about it previously because it's not the It's not it's the process, right? It's the little things, the little impacts that you have in your daily life that lead to the bigger outcome. So what is one thing a day, just one, that brings you joy, clarity, or peace? Is it a walk without your phone, a 5-minute journal entry, lighting a candle before you open your laptop? Let those little moments stack. They're not small, they're sacred. And if that means lighting a candle, taking a bubble bath, I don't know, just anything, grounding yourself outside in the grass, like any little thing that makes you feel good, make that a part of your daily routine. Number 5, and this is something that I think is so important and something that for me, I have tried to do with every business that I've ever opened, owned, or how I coach my clients, but build community intentionally. You don't need a crowd, but you do need support. I tell this to every single one of my clients. It is better to have 100 loyal customers than 1,000 followers that do not engage, do not buy, and do not mention your name in rooms you are not in. Invite those friends who let you be your full self. Join communities where you feel safe and not judged. That's part of what I'm creating here, a global sisterhood of women blooming through hard things, of women who just want to be a part of a community that truly sees, hears, and celebrates you. It is so hard to do life alone. And for a long time, I thought that I needed to do that. And it wasn't until I built the Community of Bloom Social Club that I realized I did not have to go through the hard things alone, because my babes who bloom may not have the same story that I do, but what they do have is the same vision. There's the same end game at the end of the day. We all want to be successful. What that definition of success is can be completely different, but we all have to go through things to get there. And why do it alone if you can do it with women who you can vent to, who you can celebrate the little things, who can say, oh, I've been there. This is what I did. Maybe you can take that and use it. The slow bloom method. I'm going to leave the link to the Everygirl article down below because I'm telling you, it changed my life. I felt like I was on, like that energy bunny, the battery. I felt like I was just going, and there was just no finish line. And sometimes to see that finish line, you have to kind of take a step back and slow it down. It reminds me when I was growing up and we had the story of the tortoise and the hare. We're all going to the same place. Why do I have to be in a rush? So this podcast, this episode is not about overnight transformations. It's about real women, real stories, and real healing. So I truly want you guys to go on this journey with me if you align to it. If this reaches you in some way and you want to be on that slow bloom method with me, I invite you to follow along. By Lauren Garcia on Instagram or The Strength to Bloom, to let me know what you resonated with, if you need this community. And I want you to share this episode with a woman who you think would benefit from the slow bloom method for where she is in her journey. And of course, if you are ready to share your story, I would like you to find the link in the description and share it. Your story matters. I think that any person who is willing to be vulnerable and get on here and share their story is such a powerhouse. It takes time to be able to do so, but I'm telling you that it matters. And you sharing your story, it may impact one person, but that one person can then impact another and another and another. And it just creates this global sisterhood. So I hope you join the Strength to Bloom podcast. Again, if you want to share your story, please do so. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe, follow us on Spotify, and I can't wait to see you next Thursday. Let's normalize blooming quietly. Let's normalize not having it all figured out, and let's normalize soft, steady, sacred growth, okay? I cannot wait to applaud you from the other side. And until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and keep blooming.